There have been 132 of these that have been largely consistent in one way, Jeffrey, and that is with a starting rotation for these Mariners that is just doing the absurd. And Bryce Miller last night, again, shoving 7 innings, tying a career high, 10 Ks, tying a career high, no walks. I mean, he doesn't walk people. He's like George Kirby now. He didn't walk people anymore. What this staff has done, can you give me any historical context? Is there anything that just jumps out to a Jeffrey Passan who sees the whole picture, both currently and in the past, for what these guys are doing?
Yeah, I think it goes back to those walks, right? They just do not walk anyone. It's the second lowest since the turn of the century, the second lowest walk rate of a starting rotation over the course of a full season. Less than 5% of Mariners' plate appearances when they are playing defensively. Less than 5% of those plate appearances end up in a walk by the starter. And the only team ahead of them was the 2005 Minnesota Twins. If you go back and look at the 2005 Minnesota Twins, they had a bunch of soft-tossing, garbage arms. These are guys who were throwing like 95 to 100. And the fact that they have the control and the command to pull this off and to strike a bunch of guys out, it's truly phenomenal to watch. You guys are really lucky that you get to root for this pitching staff, because we came into the season this year saying this could be really good. And honestly, I think they've exceeded expectations.
I would agree.
And when we go beyond just the walks, I'm just going to look at base runners here. Again, this is since the turn of the century. Only 2 starting rotations have allowed a lower number of base runners, and that's just based on walks and hits per innings pitched, than the current Seattle Mariners, who are 1.05. It's a bananas whip. Like, it's crazy to have that. And the only 2 teams that were better are the 2021 and 2022 Los Angeles Dodgers. And when you look at their rotations, guys, it's not like they have a bunch of dudes going out there and throwing 180 plus innings. I think when it's all said and done, this rotation's going to have 4 starters. Maybe Bryce Miller is going to be on the cusp of it, but Castillo will easily be over 180. Gilbert's almost already there. And Kirby will be over there too.
Yeah, I think their starters have thrown the most innings of any in the league. I had a text here this morning that said thank God Service is gone because he pitched the bullpen too much. And I'm like, well, you should watch some other teams because he's actually pitched them less than anyone else. And to combine that with the health of this rotation all year, you talk about them, exceeding expectations. I agree they have. Some of that, though, is just they've been incredibly healthy other than a couple of stints with Brian Wu.
Yeah, and that's honestly just to be expected with Brian Wu. It's how he has always been. The only thing keeping him from being on the level of the other 4 guys is the health. But if you look at total innings this year, a dozen teams, and we're through 131 games, by the way. So a dozen teams have more than 700 innings from their starting pitchers. And if that doesn't seem like a lot, it is not a lot. The Mariners are at the top with 762 2/3 innings from their starting pitching. The next best is Kansas City with 744, then Philadelphia with 739. Then you go to 722 with Atlanta. So the separation there, even at the top, it's drastic how many more innings the Mariners starters are throwing, and honestly, it's how it should be. Like, you guys are living in terms of just watching your pitching, you guys are living my idealized version of being a baseball fan, which is going out and seeing starting pitching do awesome things.